Hi everyone, today I chose Black Like Me by John Howard Griffin. This June, President Biden signed an act and Juneteenth became a federal holiday. It's a combination of the words June and 19th together. June 19th, 1865 is the day when slavery officially ended in the United States. Last year's Black Lives Matter protests reminded all of us of how important equality and human rights are. At the same time, how much struggles African Americans have had. So today, I'd like to introduce this book, Black Like Me, written by John Howard Griffin. It's a non-fiction book published in 1961. This documentary is impressive. The story took place in the late 1950s in the United States. The author is a white journalist. He alters his skin color dark by medication and goes for a hitchhike journey in the deep, deep South. He disguises himself as a black man in order to observe how white people changes their attitudes toward him. This is a true story that happened 70 years ago, even several years before the Civil Rights Movement or Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous speech, I Have a Dream. While reading this, many times it made me mad when some white people are so rude to him just because his skin color is black. Racial discrimination is the same as contempt or despise. It deprives humans of human dignity and pride. That's why I think racial discrimination is the unforgivable sin. So let me read page 117 from the book. The hate stare was everywhere practiced, especially by women of the older generation. On Sunday, I made the experiment of dressing well and walking past some of the white churches just as services were over. In each instance, as the women came through the church doors and saw me, the spiritual bouquets changed to hostility. The transformation was grotesque. Oh, this scene is so sad. On the other hand, I was inspired by the patience of black people who tried to forgive and love them even though many white people hate them. So let me read from page 96. One black Christian pastor says, "The whites are God's children, just like us, even if they don't act godlike anymore. God tells us straight, we've got to love them. Why? If we hated them, we'd be sunk down to their level. When we stop loving them, that's when they win." I've got a Bible here, and Matthew 5:44 says, "Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." This black pastor shows us the true love of Jesus. He's such a brave man. I respect him. And of course, I admire the author, Mr. Griffin, too. He is so brave. He wrote the book not from outside, but dived into the black people's community and tried to interview them as a friend and think and experience everything in their shoes. Because he wrote this book, he and his family had to evacuate to Mexico because he has always been the target of the hate groups. But he published it, and this book was born. That's why this book is so impressive. Lastly, I want to say thank you to my teacher who recommended this book to me 8 years ago. And of course, I want to recommend it to all of my friends and students. Thank you for listening and happy Juneteenth!